Harrison Graham here on Chicago Bears Now. Before we react to Mel Kiper's mock draft, all you got to do, like this video if you're ready for this year's NFL Draft. About 2 weeks away from the draft finally being here. What are the Bears going to do? Who are they going to draft? I don't know. I'm fired up to see what happens. Like the video if you guys are ready for the NFL Draft. Bears Now by Chat Sports. Harrison Graham here. Mel Kiper of ESPN released his latest 2-round NFL mock draft, so let's break it down here on Chicago Bears Now. 2-round mock that includes some trades. Shortly I'll let you know if the Bears are a part of those trades. Obviously the Bears have the number 20 pick and the number 52 pick in rounds 1 and in round 2. And if you look at the biggest needs before we get into the picks themselves and I react to them, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think it's quarterback and offensive tackle. However, that's interchangeable there. I think quarterback is still the biggest need because you don't have a long-term answer, but that may not happen this year. Cornerback, I think, is your third biggest now after losing Kyle Fuller. Wide receiver, I think, is a need. And then edge. I think this team could use more pass rushing help as well, but safety could be a position, defensive tackle. There's certainly some different options that the Bears could go in the NFL Draft. So let's react to what Mel Kiper did in his latest mock. In round 1, he goes offensive tackle, Oklahoma State's Teven Jenkins, which this has been a very common pick among mocks in recent weeks. This is a very safe and solid pick. He's a powerful tackle. I think he's a day one starter at right tackle. Remember the Bears cut Bobby Massie. He would instantly be an upgrade and obviously cheaper, and it fills a need. That you need offensive tackles if you are the Chicago Bears. This has been a popular pick, but I think it's a good pick. I like this pick from Mel Kiper Jr. You bring in Teven Jenkins at pick number 20. Sure, it's not a sexy pick. Sure, it's not a quarterback. Would I prefer Christian Darrisaw, who could play left tackle? Probably, but he was already off the board. I think Teven Jenkins at number 20 is good value. It's a safe pick. It's been a popular pick among a lot of NFL draft experts, and I know a lot of Bears bloggers and film review guys have looked at Teven Jenkins quite a bit. If this ends up being the pick at 20, I'm happy with it. I think it's a good selection. I think Ryan Pace could benefit from a safer type of pick like this, quite frankly. You get a guy in there who I think is a 10 or 12-year right tackle, and you're feeling pretty good about that overall. And if you look at the depth chart, again, he'd plug in at right tackle. Jermaine Ifedi can be your sixth offensive lineman there. He can be your guard tackle swing type of O-lineman there. Sure, Charles Leno isn't great at left tackle, but you can deal with that for one more year, and you're feeling pretty good about how this offensive line sits overall. And maybe the strategy for Chicago becomes, okay, let's try and give Andy Dalton the best chance to be successful this year. If we can't go get a young quarterback in the first round, let's stand pat, let's draft Teven Jenkins, let's beef up this offensive line, and then add more talent throughout the draft and maybe a couple more free agents after the draft as well. I like this pick. Experienced player in the Big 12, 39 career starts, 6'6", 320. He's the full package. Yeah, he's probably not a left tackle, but again, I think this is a decade-long right tackle in Teven Jenkins. Safe, but a very good pick overall. Go ahead and grade it for me in the comments. A, B, C, D, or F. How do you guys feel about this selection of Teven Jenkins at number 20 overall? Go back to school, A, B, C, D, or F, and get your grades in on this one. If I were grading it, I'd give it an A-. I think it's a good pick. I think it's not a home run pick would be, one of the top quarterbacks falling outside of the top 10 and moving up for it, but this is a really good player in Teven Jenkins. I think he's a stud. Tom Downey, our Chat Sports draft expert, likes him a lot at right tackle, and I think he would plug in and be arguably one of your better offensive linemen for the Chicago Bears. I give it an A-. I think it's a solid pick from Kiper overall. Jenkins, this is the write-up from Kiper on Jenkins when it comes to the Bears. He says he's the last of the 4 offensive tackles of whom he gave a first-round grade to. 3-year starter at right tackle for Oklahoma State. He's outstanding in the run game. He'd filled the spot created by the release of Bobby Massie, which is something I said earlier. I would prefer to not start Charles Leno and Jermaine Ifedi on your offensive line. I don't think that's what you want to do if you are Chicago. So you plug in Teven Jenkins, you're feeling pretty good about the right tackle spot, not only this year, but for many years to come. So Teven Jenkins is Kiper's first pick for his latest mock, and I like it quite a bit. Get a Chicago Bears draft hat right now as they're starting to fly off the shelves. Chatsports.com/Bears draft. That link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Tons of different styles available. You got the curve bill hat. You got the fitted hat style as well with the meshing on the back. This one's a snapback adjustable head size there also. Chatsports.com/Bears draft. And if you don't like this year's style, that link will also show a couple of the older models from 2020 and 2019. A few of those are still available as well. Chatsports.com/Bears draft. That link's going to be in the comments. It's going to be in the description, so go ahead and shop today. Mel Kiper goes wide receiver in round 2, and this is a puzzling one. Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn, the speedster, ran a mid-4.2 at his pro day, and I got some strong opinions here. I get Kiper trying to add another weapon for Andy Dalton, but this is a bad pick. Anthony Schwartz, in most mocks that I've seen, at earliest is a third-round guy, really more of like a fourth-round guy. Sure, he's fast, but that's kind of all he is. He's not a good route runner. He didn't do a lot of that at Auburn. Yeah, you can use him in like the jet sweep game. He could be like a D'Anthony Thomas type of player maybe, but D'Anthony Thomas is a gadget guy that only lasted 5 or 6 years and wasn't even that great. Plus, what Thomas offered was elite return ability. Schwartz didn't return at Auburn. He wasn't a kick or a punt returner, and you're taking that guy in the second round? No, there's better options out there at the wide receiver position. Sure, you can't have enough speed, but if you just wanted a pure speed guy, you already have Darnell Mooney. Go get a guy who's more polished in round 2 than Anthony Schwartz. I'm not saying he can't be a good player. I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance to be a good player. But if you like him so much, he's going to be there at 83 almost in all certainty. Maybe a team reaches for him. They fall in love with that 40 time, like Al Davis used to back in the day when he was running the the Oakland Raiders at the time, RIP. But round 2, 52 overall for Anthony Schwartz. This is an early day 3 guy, 4th round. Maybe he gets into the 3rd round, but middle of round 2, nah. This is a bad pick. I agreed with Kiper on the first one. I like the Teven Jenkins selection. This is not a good pick, though, overall. It's a huge reach, and I am not a fan of it whatsoever. Grade the pick of Schwartz at number 52 overall. Scale it from 1 to 100. I'm giving this like a 40. This is bad. Sure, you might get a decent player here, but again, you can get him later. You don't have to get him in the 2nd round. This is like, you know what this is? This would be drafting Kyle Trask at number 20 overall because, we need a quarterback and the top 5 are gone. We better just take Kyle Trask. No, don't operate that way. You can get better players. I don't like this pick whatsoever, so scale it from 1 to 100. You heard me. I'd give it about a 40 overall. I do not think it is a good pick. Subscribe to Chicago Bears now. If they draft Anthony Schwartz, I'm going to be in shambles, but we'll have a video on it. YouTube.com/Bears now. Hit that big red button and subscribe today. Draft videos leading you up to the NFL Draft. Click that link, YouTube.com/Bears now, or just smash that red button. More thoughts on the Schwartz pick here. So you kind of look at the depth chart. So you got Allen Robinson, you got Darnell Mooney. We'll see what happens in the slot there. But sure, in theory, Anthony Schwartz becomes your slot receiver. I don't know if he translates to the next level. Think about this. He had more rushing touchdowns at Auburn than receiving in his career. That's a bit of a red flag to me. Now, could he become like a McCole Hardman type where he's really good in the jet sweep game? Maybe they make him a good return man. Again, Hardman is an elite punt returner for Kansas City. That's not something that Schwartz did in college. Maybe he does it in the pros, but there's no evidence that he can track the ball that well. I just don't get this pick. I haven't seen a single mock draft from a reputable draft expert like Kiper is that's gone Anthony Schwartz in round 2. Yet he found a way to do it at pick number 52 overall. This is the classic, I feel like, headline type of grab from Kiper. Oh, let's give the Bears a 4-2-5 guy. No, don't take Schwartz in round 2. It's a bad pick. Round 3, round 4, maybe. Not in the 2nd round. So what's the better pick? If you can't tell, I clearly like one more than the other. Type T if you think it's Teven Jenkins at number 20. Type A if you think it's Anthony Schwartz at number 52. It's clearly Jenkins. Day 1 starter. Schwartz may be a bust, so I'm going to type my T for Teven Jenkins.